Fantastic. All right. Well, should we just get straight into it?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Fantastic. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to listen to this. A little bit about me. My name is Carlin.Diprose. I am the product evangelist for personal systems here at HP. And I've been with HP for about 3 years now. Well, 3.5 now, actually. And currently been in this role for about a year. And so today we're going to have a little conversation around security. And so right now we are incredibly lucky to be living in an age where we do have the flexibility and the freedom in the way that we work. We're no longer chained to a desk. And so we can take our work with us anywhere. And the freedom of working anywhere couldn't have come at a better time, because currently our world has sort of changed overnight into something that a lot of us really couldn't have predicted. And so with this ability that we fortunately have to be able to work from home safely, we do need to keep in mind that an endpoint device, a notebook that we take home with us, can potentially be an open window for threats to steal IP, personal information, and everything in between if it's not protected properly. And so that is why every PC decision is a security decision. And so today I want to talk a little bit about what the current landscape of threats to a company is, along with what HP is doing in all of our business devices at that hardware and software level, as well as a few different solutions that we have introduced very recently that will help you regardless of the scale of your business. And so first of all, if we take a look at this rapidly evolving landscape of security and threats, right now, the number one threat to any business is via email. If I was a hacker that was wanting to get into a device or even an entire network, the easiest way to do so is to take some malware, embed it in a Word document, and email it off to a bunch of people and just wait for someone to bite. And through that, through one person potentially opening up that attachment, I could have access to an entire company network. And so right now, 94% of all computer infections originate from email attachments. It's a huge problem right now. Not only that, is that these threats are becoming more sophisticated and there's more variations of them. And so right now there is over 5 billion unique threats per month. And most of those are being created and generated by machines. So hackers are taking advantage of artificial intelligence to be able to constantly evolve these threats at a rate that was never possible before. And so as a result of this, more traditional AV methods are not sufficient. And so security as a result is obviously having to evolve at a much faster rate as well. Another thing that we're seeing is that ITDMs worry that employees don't take the proper measures around security, particularly when it comes to opening up email attachments. And a part of me says, well, fair enough. If you're in HR or you're an employer, if you get emailed a resume, you're going to open it up, right? But the reality is it's very easy for that resume or whatever Word document or PDF to have malicious content. And so another massive problem around that is also the lack of visibility. So if there is a breach, if there is a threat that gets onto an end user device or onto the network, often this threat will go unseen for potentially months after this initial breach. And the thing is, when it comes to these threats, it often only takes seconds of being on a device or being on a network to steal really, really important information or encrypt files, all of these other things. And then finally, another huge problem that we're seeing is the shortage of expertise at the moment. So there is a huge demand for skilled IT security experts around the world. And unfortunately, those demands are not being filled at the moment. There's 3.5 million vacancies when it comes to security IT experts in businesses. And so, as a response to all of these reasonably new threats, what HP has very recently announced are three brand new security offerings. So the first one is HP Pro Security, which is targeted specifically for your SMB market. Then we also have HP Proactive Security, which is more for your medium-sized to large businesses, which focuses a lot more on the service side and the management side of security. And then finally, we have HP SureClick Enterprise, which is your absolute best-in-class security for businesses like government and defense and all of these sort of things. And so part of what makes this possible is HP's new acquisition and partnership with Bromium, who are the providers of the technology that made our HP SureClick software possible. And so we acquired them back in September. And since then, we've been working really hard to get these new offerings available for everyone. So breaking down the differences between these solutions very briefly. If we look at that top end, I mentioned that HP Enterprise Security SureClick Enterprise is focused specifically on your large enterprises, your government, all of that sort of use, and the ability to easily manage your security with a range of other features that are currently already implemented into your business as well. So that's very much focused at that top level. The next level down from that, though, are your still medium to large size businesses where proactive security and management is important. So being able to get those analytics and the tools that allow you to proactively manage your fleet. Often, though, we see when it comes to enterprise level security and the absolute best security, often SMB sort of gets left in the dust. Often there isn't a solution that is sort of that same quality, but suited to small to medium businesses. And so that is why we have introduced HP Pro Security Edition. So what HP Pro Security Edition is enterprise level security, but pre-packaged into a incredibly easy to manage solution that is essentially an out-of-box experience. So if you are a small to medium business that doesn't have the resources for a large IT security team, then this is perfect because it doesn't need that same level of expertise that you do get in that enterprise and large business level. And then finally, when it comes to security across everything HP, all of our Pro range, our Elite range, and our Workstation range, we have what is newly rebranded as HP Essential Security. So that is essentially all of our hardware and software driven security that any HP commercial customer gets. And so I'll quickly break down those key features because those are available to every single HP customer, whether you're using the enterprise security, the proactive security, or anything else. So you can sort of break it up into two categories, and that's the hardware side and the software side. So the hardware is essentially powered by a little chip that we call the endpoint security controller, and that powers HP Sure Start, Sure Run, Sure Recover, and a few other features. My personal favorite is HP Sure Start because it's actually the world's only self-healing BIOS. So if you were to get malware on your firmware of your device, HP Sure Start is the only technology in the world that is not only able to detect it, but able to actually recover your BIOS within a matter of seconds as well. And if you're managing a reasonably large fleet, this could save you weeks of work of re-imaging devices. When it comes to the security in the software, I want to dig a little bit deeper though, because particularly when it comes to SureClick and SureSense, these technologies are driven by reasonably new technologies. The first one being HP SureSense. So SureSense is internet security that is powered by artificial intelligence deep learning. Now, the reason why this is important is because there are hundreds of thousands of new malware that's generated every single day. I mentioned that there are billions of them every single month. And the hackers are using artificial intelligence to create these new variants. And so naturally, we're using artificial intelligence to keep your devices secure as well. Some of you may have heard of machine learning before, and essentially machine learning is taking massive data sets and training your AI brain. Essentially, the more data that you have, the better your AI will become. And the key difference between machine learning and deep learning is that deep learning is designed to mimic the human brain. That's sort of how that architecture works. And so it makes these sort of neural network connections across these hundreds of millions of data sets, making way more connections across them than machine learning can. So essentially, deep learning is a type of machine learning. It's just that newer version. And for those of you that are not as familiar with sort of how AI works, I would actually encourage you guys to go to thispersondoesnotexist.com, because this is actually a website that creates entirely AI generated faces. So this face that you see here is not a real person. This face was actually generated from hundreds of millions of samples of different people's faces. And so every time you refresh the website, it will actually take you to a new, completely AI generated face. It's kind of scary, but it sort of gives you an idea of what AI is capable of. And so that's actually what we're doing with HP SureSense. We're taking these hundreds of millions of samples of malware and we're training HP SureSense to instinctively learn how it works so that it can pick up on these zero-day threats. And it's incredibly effective as well. It works in real time and also works offline as well. If you're not connected to the internet and you plug a flash drive into your device or anything along those lines, SureSense will still work. And because it's using this deep learning technology, it requires very, very few updates as well. Definitely not on the same level as sort of your built-in internet security where you're basically updating it every single week. So that's SureSense, but then there is SureClick. And actually, I'll skip this slide here. SureClick is essentially isolation and containment software. This is specifically for those email attachments that you open up. If you open up an email attachment and you've got SureClick running on your computer, SureClick will actually open it within a virtual machine so that it cannot get to the rest of your computer. So that is driven by the hardware being able to create virtual machines, but it's able to then feed that information back into the brain so that it's able to continue learning. Now, if we talk a little bit about HP Pro Security, this is the out-of-box security solution that is now available. So that will actually contain HP SureClick Pro and SureSense Pro. So that will have more features, including the ability to actually open up a Word document, even if it has malware in it, and you can actually still edit and print that document. So it will keep you completely safe from any potential malware that is embedded in that file. So when it comes to small to medium business security, some of the challenges that you often see is, first of all, insufficient personnel. We already mentioned that there is a huge demand for IT security experts. Another issue is, of course, budget, the cost around hiring IT security experts. And then, of course, if you don't have the budget for these people, it's obviously the understanding of how to protect against cyber attacks. It's a huge problem for SMBs. And so that is why HP Pro Security, which will be available as essentially a separate license, will contain all of these features, HP SureClick and SureSense, all in one easy to use console. And actually it will be bundled with the new EliteBook 800 series at around July of this year. And so essentially, if you buy one of these new devices and start it up for the first time, this will be pre-configured and ready to go. And so, yeah, if you don't have that IT security expert within your team, this is the perfect solution. And so once again, that'll be available pre-configured in the new EliteBooks, but it will also be available as a license for other devices as well. Then we move to HP Proactive Security. So Proactive Security is for your slightly larger businesses that need the analytics of potential security threats. So it also contains HP SureSense Pro and HP SureClick Pro, but it will also, through HP TechPulse, be able to monitor the performance and the health of every single device within your fleet, and proactively tell you about any potential health issues for any of the PCs. But then, of course, it will be able to assess any potential threats through the use of SureClick Pro and SureSense Pro. And then finally, when it comes to enterprise level security, we have HP SureClick Enterprise. And so this
Well, I'm not sure if we have lost Carlin there. Just at the stage we started talking about SureClick Enterprise.
Cloud hosted service, yeah, just to name a few. But to summarize very briefly, HP Essential Security is the software and hardware that is bundled in every single one of the HP devices. HP Pro Security is the advanced level of protection that you'll get in SureClick Pro and SureSense, all bundled in an easy to use console and dashboard. HP Proactive Security will offer that next level management through expert IT and security experts. And then HP SureClick Enterprise is able to offer that full enterprise security integration. Now, one thing that HP is doing to make everything a little bit easier during this sort of current time of crisis is we're actually making HP SureClick Pro completely free of charge to any customer until the end of September this year. So you could be an HP customer, or you could be using any other Windows 10 PC device, and HP SureClick Pro will be completely free of charge until September. So remember that in this current climate, with everyone or more people working from home, there is a huge spike in cyber attacks coming specifically through emails. And so SureClick Pro, currently now being a free solution, is really an essential piece of security that any business should have, regardless of their scale right now. Obviously, if you're an enterprise business, then you'll want SureClick Enterprise with all of those additional features. But I would recommend that anyone else try HP SureClick Pro right now. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all we have time for today, guys. I know it's a brief one today, but if you do have any questions, if you want to get more sort of in depth on anything that I've talked about today, feel free to give me an email. My details are on the screen right now. Always, more than happy to send you more details on any of those things that we potentially skimmed over. So thank you very much, everyone. And Sean, I don't know if you wanted to quickly jump back in.
Carlin, thank you very much. We have recorded today's session and we'll be sending it out to all of the recipients with Luke and Jeff's details from the team at Ingram Micro. So you can feel free to get in contact with them with questions or other information. I think it's been a great session and you've done amazingly to squeeze it into 25 minutes.
I know, it's a lot to squeeze into that time.
Well done. Is there anything you want to say, Luke or Jeff? I'm pretty sure that's it, and I think Carlin's done so well.
No, Carlin's covered it off well. Thanks very much, Carlin and Sean, for organising all of this.
Awesome. The content will be available on the Ingram Micro YouTube channel shortly. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to end the meeting now. We've got another session coming up.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.